Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be having a first look at this POCO X6 Pro smartphone. And I have been actually using this smartphone for the last 3 days, so I will be giving you my initial impressions. What do I feel about this? And the good thing is that now we know the pricing of this smartphone, and I have to say POCO has surprised everyone. Even I was surprised when they actually announced the pricing of this one. Because if we compare, I'll talk about the performance of this smartphone, the hardware in it is, and if we compare it with the POCO X5 Pro also, this smartphone is actually twice as more powerful. In fact, as of now in India, for the price point of this smartphone that is selling, you can get it starts at about 25,000 rupees. If you include that 2,000 rupees offer, no other smartphone in India can match this in terms of performance. So that way they have like surprised everyone, and I was also genuinely surprised. That's why I'm actually really happy to actually test this out, because really we get devices like that in India these days. And this smartphone is actually reminding me of the vibes that we got with the POCO F1, if you recall. Okay, anyways, let's talk about this device itself. And if you notice, I am actually using this device with the case. This comes in this massive box, and yes, you also get the charger in the box. That's a 67 watt charger. It has a 5000 milliamp hour battery. I'll talk about the battery life and all those things later on. But again, guys, this is not an in-depth review, but this is based on the past 3 days of usage of this device. And I used it with my Jio SIM on this one. Also, the Wi-Fi performance is good. I tested with multiple Wi-Fi routers. Both Wi-Fi 5, Wi-Fi 6. Good thing is that it does support Wi-Fi 6. And also one thing was surprising, again in hardware, it came with Bluetooth 5.4, which is actually latest. And some of the even higher end smartphones do come with just 5.3 Bluetooth. So that way they have bundled in a lot of things. And yes, NFC is also there on this one. Okay, the first thing that I liked is, and again, this is regarding the OS that it comes, that is coming with this new Hyper OS, and this is actually based on Android 14. So you're getting Android 14 out of the box on this one. So that's actually really good. And another thing that I was surprised, I was not expecting, is that though this is coming with Android 14, this device will get next 3 years of Android upgrade. So Android 15, 16 and 17, and 4 years of security upgrade. So that is actually really good, because in this price range generally we don't get something like that. Coming to the screen quality, guys, it's having actually a AMOLED pre-OLED screen, technically speaking. And the good thing is that this is slightly above that full HD plus that we generally get. This is actually 1.5K screen, so it's slightly higher PPI. And I also like the fact that this is actually Dolby Vision certified. Of course, it's having that 120 Hertz refresh rate. I have actually forced it to 120 Hertz, and I was using it all the time with this 120 Hertz only. But I like that it's Dolby Vision certified. And even if I open Netflix, Netflix actually detects that. Let me just go to my own profile. If I click over here, as you can see closely here, it says Dolby Vision. So that's actually really good. They are giving Dolby Vision on this, and of course it does support that HDR and all those things on that. Another new thing is that this one is having an in-display fingerprint scanner, and that works really well. I feel that this is the first time actually, if I recall, POCO is giving the in-display fingerprint scanner. So that's what it is. Let me just remove the case to give you an idea. Another thing that I actually did not expect is that the bezels, if you notice, the border is very less on this smartphone. This is again generally not found in mid-range smartphones. Generally the bottom bezels or something will be thicker, but here again, if you notice, it's very slim. So that way that was actually a surprise. One thing that I do not like is that, at least on this black color, if you notice, the fingerprints are like so much visible. Again, with the case supplied, this is the supplied case, it actually looks good. But if you're a person who does not like cases and stuff like this, then I would say opt for the yellow color one, because that is actually having a vegan leather finish. Also, coming to the weight, the phone is actually surprisingly light and well balanced It's just weighs 190 grams. So that way, it's not heavy to hold. And coming to the glass protection they have given, that's Gorilla Glass 5. So that's fair, I would say. I can't complain too much. And again, in terms of responsiveness, I would say the phone is very responsive, so that HyperOS stuff is actually doing its job. I would say memory management also has been good, and it actually comes in two variants, guys. Here are all the specs. It comes with 8 gigabytes of RAM, and that is having 256 gigabytes of storage. This is having the higher 12 gigabytes of RAM with 512 GB of storage. The good thing is that the base storage is 256 gigabytes. And remember, guys, this is actually UFS 4 storage. This is actually again used in higher end flagships. So UFS 4 we are getting, and also the RAM that we are getting is the higher LPDDR5x RAM. That way, I would say, again, I have to stress the hardware that you're getting for the price. I think so nothing comes close to it. They haven't compromised on the core hardware on this one. Now, okay, let's talk about the processor on this one. This is the first time in India this processor has been released. That's the Dimensity 8300 Ultra. And I've run some benchmarks. I've saved also. Let me just show you the scores. And as you can see, this I ran in the balance mode. We got a score of 12,61,000, and this is almost 1.3 million. That is 13 lakhs. And guys, this is very, very high. This score, what we are getting on Antutu is actually close to Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, slightly above that, and it's actually closer to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, I would say. So that way, I would say the processor also that is used on this one is a very, very powerful processor. And I like the fact that though they are giving a good processor, this is a very powerful processor. They didn't compromise on the RAM and the storage. So it can take the advantage of everything. So that way, I would say the performance of this smartphone is very, very, very good, I would say. And again, I did not have any stutters or anything on this one. And if I go to display also, let me just show you. This again, the system tray again looks like very similar to MIUI, but there are some things that have been changed. And display, again, as I've told you, I have forced it to 120 hertz, and I've been using it only in this 120 hertz, and it's been working very, very fine. Also, this does have that dual stereo speaker. Again, the G board was installed by default, so I didn't have to actually change it. Let me just increase. So this is the max, guys. So adequately loud, I would say, and because this also has that Dolby Atmos effect, so I think so for the price the speakers are good, and as it's also having that Dolby Vision, again for even multimedia consumption, it's a good device. Coming to the battery life on this one is having a 5000 milliamp hour battery, and this comes with this 67 watt charger. So the charging speeds are fairly quickly. If it's almost depleted, you can fully charge it in around 48 minutes, which is actually fine. And that I didn't recall, but that first 50% it charges very, very quickly. I didn't time it, but it was actually pretty quick. So again, I don't have an issue with that. And I would say for most user, if you're not a hardcore gamer or something, if you're not gaming too much, you should easily get about 1.5 days worth of battery life on this one. But if you do game quite a bit or everything, then also it should last for a typical full day. But overall, in terms of battery life, I would say the battery life is also pretty decent. Coming to the call quality, I didn't do my extensive, very, very long calls, but the last 2-3 days calls that I've took, again, the earpiece was fine and it was clear. So I don't have an issue with that. Also, some of you have asked me about heating on this smartphone, and with the regular usage, day-to-day regular usage, I haven't noticed any major abnormal heating. But yes, when I was actually running the benchmark, stressing it, Antutu and all those things I was running on this one, yes, the handset actually back becomes actually pretty warm to touch, I would say. And I am not a big hardcore gamer, but I did run this Call of Duty on this one, and I kept it on max setting, if I recall. And again, here also it played very, very fine. In fact, a very, very smooth gameplay. In fact, this POCO team is actually saying that they employ something called this Wild Boost 2 when you're doing gaming, and in fact it has a dedicated antenna for 5 gigahertz, so for that lag free gaming. And also while you're gaming, the brightness it maintains does not let the brightness fall down, which happens in some of the devices. And again, it tries to get the best FPS out of this. So again, it's actually optimized for gaming. Also the touch latency is improved. In fact, they claim it's up to 2160 hertz, and they also have a stainless steel vapor chamber, which is again 5000 milli square. So again, these are some of the things that they have done for gaming. Again, I'm not a super hardcore gamer. I played Call of Duty for about 25 minutes, and it was a very good experience. In fact, I have to say it handles this game without any issue. But again, if you want to know about hardcore gaming and stuff like that, follow some other channels. I've used it mostly like a normal device that I do, and in those things I did not have wrong. One thing I noticed is that if you go to this left pane, this is something that is new that I have noticed. This is a different thing instead of the regular Google pane, but you can actually get that Google pane back if you just swipe like this. Go to this is the settings, go to more, and here this is the app vault, and you can actually change it to the Google Discover. Now you will get your regular Google stuff over here. So that way I would say it's clean. By default there were actually some apps that were pre-installed. For example, I've put all of them. In fact, the Netflix was also pre-installed on this. These were the apps that actually were pre-installed. Most of them are okay, but I don't know why this bubble shooter was there. Luckily you can uninstall all these apps, but I also found some of these games that were installed, so I don't know why that this was there. But the thing is that if I go over here, you can uninstall for example, let's say I don't like this Snapchat, I can actually uninstall it. So yes, there is some pre-installed apps, but yeah, you can uninstall. I get it why. To get to this very aggressive price point, they might have included it, but yeah, you can uninstall them. So I won't complain too much because of the pricing of this one. If this was priced above 30,000 or something like that, then I would have complained about those apps, but that's what it is. And overall, I would say yes, that Gets app is there. Again, it's a Xiaomi device, so those apps are still there, the themes and stuff. So once or twice I do get those notifications. I haven't disabled it. It's actually very easy to actually disable these if you really want to. So again, you can remove that, but to just show you, I did not disable it. So that's regarding the interface. Again, this HyperOS I feel is in the right direction, again, because this adds a few things. For example, Google Home, if you have smart devices, smart speakers, etc., you can access them over here and all this thing. So they've added a few things over here. Again, this is the settings page. If you go over here, that's what it is. So this is the thing, and detail info. If I go over here, again, as you can see, this is the 12 gigabyte variant. Again, virtual RAM was pre-enabled. I just disabled it, and as you can see, this is the Dimensity 8300 Ultra that we are getting on this smartphone. And yeah, some of you have asked me, does it have any IP protection? According to the specs, this is having IP54 protection. And now let's talk about the camera on this one. This has a triple camera setup. The main camera is a 64 megapixel. The good thing is that this does have optical image stabilization. Then we have a 8 megapixel, that's ultra wide. Then that we have that obligatory 2 megapixel camera. I won't complain too much about the 2 megapixel camera because they are not touting this as a super camera smartphone, and I came with very low expectation, but the camera performance is actually pretty decent. I'll show you some of the sample shots. Front facing camera is that 16 megapixel punch hole on this one. These are some samples taken in outdoor conditions, and as you can see, in outdoor conditions it actually does a pretty good job. Pictures are sharp and they do have a lot of details. Also, coming to the colors I feel are not oversaturated or something. They are very close to what you see, that is natural colors that I'm getting with this smartphone. So that's good for a change. As you can see, this is that regular shot and the colors look very natural, and this is actually the ultra wide. One more example, this was that regular shot and this was that ultra wide. Because of the aperture that is 1.7, you can get that background blur very easily like this. Now moving to human subjects, also the colors are produced well, as you can see, but in the portrait mode, I feel there is by default a lot of skin smoothing. You should actually lower that. These are with the front facing camera, and I did not remove the skin smoothing. As you can see, by default the skin smoothing is a lot with the front facing camera, but you can disable it. Guys, recording this video with the rear facing camera of this POCO X6 Pro, and I've actually now set it to 4K. I'm just going to walk back and see how's the stabilization. It actually looks good in stabilization, but there was one extra stabilization option in 1080p. But anyways, this is a video shot in 4K. As you can see, this is bright area, this is shadowed area. It's handling the exposure fairly quickly. Hi guys, recording the video with the front facing camera of this POCO X6 Pro, and as you can see, I'm recording it in outdoor conditions, and the maximum video recording with the front facing camera is set to 1080p, and I've set it to actually 1080p. And as you can see, this is the video recording that you can expect. Looks like it's also employing some sort of image stabilization, because the videos seems to be actually stable. But guys, just remember that with the front facing camera, the maximum video recording is limited to 1080p. So guys, this is the POCO X6 Pro smartphone. What do you feel about this one? I have to say, in my initial impressions using this device for the last 3 days, overall I would say for the price point that you can get it for about 25,000, this has to be one of the most powerful smartphone as of now for this price point. And overall, I would say the performance of the smartphone also is done well, and I like the fact that it's coming out of the box with Android 14, and also it has the next 3 years of Android upgrade. So that way I would say in terms of software updates also, it's going to do a good job. And I feel this is going to be a very strong device in this price point. And overall, I would say my impressions are actually very positive with this device. But what do you feel about this POCO X6 Pro? Do let me know in the comment section below. Anyways guys, this is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care guys.